So I've talked about this on my posts and a lot of videos I've made in the past year or so. I have already quit this toxic job as of yesterday, and I'm just gonna get on with it because there's really no reason for me to look back. There's no sense holding grudges over this. I really just want to let this go and move on. I don't want to make this like a 30-minute documentary. I just want to get on with it. So, subscribers and viewers already know what's going on with the dead end job. For those that don't know, it's a dead end night shift job, and it was the only thing I was able to get during this terrible economy after 2023 when I lost everything after living in my car in Boston. I was a delivery driver previously trying to get bartending, but was rejected and discriminated just like America. And so night shift was all I was able to get, which means I'm stuck living in a basement, and that's all I was able to get. The reason I live in a basement is because I work night shift, and the noise upstairs keeps me up during the day along the sunlight. So I decided to stay down here. And to just really get on with the point, so I left 2 years ago for a family emergency. One of my family members passed away. Plus, before that, I was being discriminated and targeted, just like I will explain later on in the video. It's a very toxic work environment. And so I was unemployed for 6 months because America's economy is doing so well. And when I got rehired, that was all I was able to get from this amazing economy. And so when I was rehired, after all the fighting and working on their way towards getting me back, because the store manager didn't want me back, when I was rehired, was replaced there. I was taking the guy's place who got fired a few weeks prior because apparently he punched a coworker in the face. So I took his place. That rhymes. So his position was hydration, and I took over. I'm young, I'm athletic, I lift heavy things, I move around all day, which is the proper thing for hydration. It was the right fit for me. And so after getting the hang of it, I was doing hydration, lifting heavy gallon jugs, lifting heavy boxes, pulling a jack of heavy skids around, moving here and there, putting stuff up. Eventually I got back in shape. Eventually I dropped weight, and I was getting a little upper muscle and chest muscle from all of it. And I would go to the gym after work. A little while I created a schedule, and overall it was smooth sailing for the most part. You go in, you unload the truck in less than an hour, you go to your station, you maybe buy a beverage or a quick snack, you get into work, you get things done. And I was able to get things done. I was able to get the gallon jugs on the shelf. I was able to meet all the requirements, and I was able to face everything, which is what we call conditioning, where the whole aisle's faced up, looks nice. I was able to do all of that every day of the week, even on Saturdays and Mondays. Now, there were days where not all of it was conditioned. It happens. But back then, it wasn't really a big deal. You know, day shift comes in, they tidied up for a half hour, then they get back to what they're doing. We kind of like worked together. We did what we could. Day shift comes in, does what they could. Overall, it was smooth sailing, you know. So I don't really know what caused this or what happened or the logic behind it. But apparently, sometime in May or so, things just took a turn for the worst. I noticed that, like, so many coworkers just leave this job over the years, just like after the pandemic. And it seems like every time these coworkers leave, the work is pushed down towards remaining staff, where we are doing all this extra work, but we're being paid the same. And you got more people quitting the job, such as myself, and you look at it and go, I'm doing twice the work for the same amount of pay. And with all these coworkers that just keep leaving, the work keeps getting pushed on to all of us. Well, let's get on with it. In May, when it all took a turn for the worst, the one guy who I work with, who I am really good friends with and on his good side, he was part-time in paper, pet, and chemical, one of the easiest sections for third shift. He was a part-time person, so he did that area by himself while we did our area. I don't know what the logic was behind this, but like, they decided to take him out of that position in May because apparently he was talking to one of the female coworkers nonstop all day. But even then, that should be like a resolvement between them two, and not what I'm about to explain further. So we all had to go help his aisle out and team stock it, which took an hour and a half or so, where we have to do everything, including facing everything, then go back to our stations. And by the time we go to our stations, an hour and a half of our time is wasted. So we do 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. We get the truck usually spotted by 11:20. So we spend about an hour wasting our time doing the paper, pen, and chemical that the one person was assigned to do part-time. And so by the time we get to our stations, it's like 12:30 or so, and my first break's at 1 a.m. And so this is when things really started going downhill really fast. And I've noticed like we were behind. Like it'll be like 4:30, an hour and a half before our shift's over, and we're still doing the truck, and it makes me feel like we were so far behind. I'm like, oh my god, I still have the truck, I still got to skid, and I got to face everything, and I got to get the gallon jugs. And I realize that we are not behind, we are wasting our time doing the one guy's job. And the reason it gets so toxic is because they want to make it so we hate the one guy for whatever he did or said. I don't really know or care, because why is it that now we have to do it? And apparently it's because other stores do it, but yet we're the best in the store, apparently what they say. And I'm like, there's no logic behind this whatsoever. And since then, it started plummeting. After that, I was taken out of hydration because the cleaning guy was outsourced by a bunch of Latinos, basically, to work for cheaper wages, most likely. So when he was outsourced, he came to my position and helped me. Now, at the time, it was me and him. So we were both getting it done. I was getting the help I desperately needed. No matter how slow or fast he was going, he was doing one skid, I was doing everything else. He was doing what he was comfortable with. I did what I was usually doing. We worked as a team. And by the time we were done, we got done about an hour and a half early, and we were able to go help out the other team. And that's what happened, and that's what I thought made sense. But when he decided to call off because he wanted 3 days off for being burnt out, which I can understand, they decided to punish him by putting him in the position that was mine to begin with. Well, not really mine, but my position prior before him. And so I had to go and be a floater and do everything in between. And this is when things just started getting toxic really fast. I noticed I'm doing this position, that position, this position, this position, learning this position. I'm obviously overworked, and I'm being paid the same. And this is the reason I quit, because I look at it and go, I'm doing twice the work in 5 people's jobs for the same amount of pay. And I'm no longer in my own position. And the schedule that I had, where I go to work, I go to the gym, I come home, cook my food, sleep, wake up, repeat, where I had a pattern, just plummeted. And now my life just went upside down after that. And I was like, I don't understand the logic behind this. And then they keep saying how like, oh, we need you, we need you, we need you nonsense. But I'm not being paid any more or have any more incentives. And then they just keep targeting me all the time, saying about how I didn't do this or how I didn't do that or how I didn't condition this or how I didn't get this done or how I'm not getting good at this or I'm slow at this. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, I'm already doing the jobs of 5 people for the same amount of pay. And one of our managers says, oh, we have to do it every day. It's like, well, I'm sorry, man. I'm educated. I don't have to settle for shitty jobs, and I'm not the one that has to do the work of 5 people. I can very well leave. Nothing ties me to this place. I stayed way longer than I should have. So now let's get on to the part of why I quit. So over time, the corporate started doing this micromanaging thing where now we are being monitored and they don't do overtime. And now it's like the tunnel of shit from what my welding teacher has taught me. You know, you're getting the tunnel of shit from corporate and it just slides down to you. And so they're not doing overtime, and now we're doing more work. And every new hiring they have, they leave in 14 days because they're being treated like shit and discriminated. And they look at it and go, I'm only in training and I'm already doing 5 people's jobs for the same amount of pay. I'm out. One of the managers straight up told him, you know what? GTFO after his first 2 hours because he was too slow and out of shape. And yet they keep whining to me all the time about how nobody wants to work or how nobody wants to stay. Well, look in the goddamn mirror, dude. There's a reason nobody wants to work there. And so, to get on with why I quit the job, I was just already doing everything. Like, I'd have to do my old position on Mondays, which is the worst day, and I only do it once a week. And the back dock is a mess because of the holidays coming up. And because the back dock was a mess, I wasn't able to get the waters out of the trailer. And I did not want to stay overtime to get those trailers out for a position I'm no longer assigned to do anymore. And besides, they don't do overtime anyway. And so I faced stuff, and then they got on me about it 2 days later after my night off and said, hey, they need to talk to you. They need to come see you. And I was like, oh, cool, again? I was getting so sick of it. They just kept targeting and discriminating me. And I was just ignoring it the whole time, hoping they'd get the message that I'm not intimidated and that I really could care less. But the one day they were just saying, why wasn't this done? I said, because the back dock was a mess and I would have had to stay 30 minutes overtime to get it. And they were just looking at me like, you got a lot of nerve talking to me like that. And I'm just like, so what else do you want to say to me? And then they said, we need to see you upstairs, over basically asking me questions I'm not obligated to answer. And the moment I was sent upstairs, I pulled out my phone and I started recording it for my protection. I put on voicemail record, put it in my pocket. And as they were talking to me, I'm like this. Just the whole time. They were just yappering and yappering and yappering about how I used to be the fastest and now I'm slower, doing 65% when I should be doing 75% or above, and that we heard you're going around saying how you don't make enough money. And I'm like, well, no shit, Sherlock. Why don't you fix that? Oh, we can't fix that. That's the union. Like, well, that's too bad, isn't it? That was what I was so tempted to say, but the whole time I'm just like this. I'm fidgeting a little bit because of the caffeine, but the whole time I'm like this. The whole time I'm like that for the whole 19-minute recording of nonsense. And then they were saying things that they shouldn't say, like, hey, drink less water, no more bathroom breaks. And I was just like, the whole time I just give a blank stare. That's just what I usually respond with when I'm discriminated and targeted, because I get it all the time and it's the same thing because I'm Irish Scandinavian and I'm kind of used to it. So I just go like this as they're talking. I don't respond. The whole time they were just talking and zipping, yapping and yapping. They're like, what do you want to do for your long-term career? And I'm like, that's not relevant to this topic and I'm not going to answer. So for those who don't know, I want to be a welder. I figured out what I want to do with my life. So I lied and said, you know what? I want to be HVAC. I mean, close enough, but I feel like I am not obligated to answer any of their questions. So basically, the whole time I was upstairs, 19 minutes, and it was just the same thing. The same questions I'm not obligated to answer, discrimination, being targeted, talking smack about other coworkers and how they suck and how I'm better than them. And I know what supply and demand is, and I'm like, you know what? I could do better. Like, I don't need you. You don't pay me enough. You don't treat me well enough. You keep talking about how other coworkers suck. You discriminate people. And you cry and piss and moan to me about how nobody wants to work all the time. I'm like, what's in it for me to continue wasting my time here? Like, I have better things to do, and there's other people who need my help. So after that, I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm coming back here. So we have a special guest from Singapore. I was telling her about my work environment. She told me about her work environment. So let's get on with her stories. Are you there? Alright. So I just finished making the video talking about me quitting the toxic job and what I was telling you about being sent upstairs and how they discriminate and treat people poorly. And you were saying that in Singapore they treat their employees with respect no matter what position they are. Can you tell me more about that? That's yeah. We don't get that. Yeah, you don't get that here in the U.S. Yeah, that sounds like a yes. A lot of Indians are in Singapore. I hear that is kind of generous how they give extra money because over here, when a company quote unquote profits, they give you a pizza party. No raises, no incentives, just a pizza party, like the cheapest processed pizza you can possibly get, and say thanks for your hard work. It's basically a slap on the face. But yeah, I've been. Yeah, you don't really see happy workers here in the U.S., let alone giving out free food in most restaurants. Like, most people don't even have to take my word for it anymore at this point. Like, just come to the U.S. and see for yourself. Get a job of any kind. Take a walk in your city. Like, it is not America anymore. It just isn't. Like, if a company pays low wages and they treat you poorly and you're discriminated and they treat you unwelcomely to make you want to leave, like, that doesn't have anything to do whether you're a good or a bad boss. That's just bad management, bad company leadership, and bad taxes. It's just corrupt, you know. It's a real shame. Yeah. Yeah. You ever watch Gordon Ramsay, the famous chef who screams at people? Sometimes our managers are like that. They're like Gordon Ramsay. They literally swear at you too. Yep. It's like that here in the US. It's funny how here in America they call us the land of the free, but I mean, if you're really free, ask yourself, is working 66 hours a week barely able to pay your bills and rent a free country? Like, you really gotta ask yourself that, you know, because in Singapore, you know, like, it's very well developed, it's very advanced compared to the US. You know, as a welder, well, going to be a welder, I plan to actually visit there for a visa for a short amount of time to see what it's going to be like. Because here in the U.S., we're just crumbling like bread off toast. You know? But yeah, thanks for the time. I was just wanting to hear what you have to say about Singapore compared to the U.S. along with my subscribers. Seems just that they're probably interested in it too. Alright. Yeah, thank you for that. I was like, I just gotta get this video edited. So there you have it, folks. That's what the working environment is like in Singapore compared to the US. at least from a person who lives in Singapore anyway. It's better to get it from the source rather than the internet. So after basically the interrogation of all that nonsense when I was upstairs recording it, I found no reason to go back. And so after that, I prayed and asked God what to do for guidance. And the answer I got from God was, get out of there. Just get out of there. Don't look back. Don't think about it. Don't burn yourself out getting angry about it. Don't hold grudges. Just get out of there. Don't look back. Don't think about it. Just move forward. And then I said to God, but what about money? I am behind on bills and credit cards. The answer was the same thing. Get out of there. Just get out of there. Worry about that other stuff later. Don't worry about it. It's already happened. You already have the job. You already have your certificate. It's already done. Everything's working out for you. No matter where you go, there you are. That's the answer I got from God. Always trust God. In this case, I took the leap of faith and decided to leave that toxic job and decided to let God provide the parachute for me on the way down, just like San Diego in 2019.